Well, welcome back. I'm not wearing any makeup today. I hope everyone's okay with that. See, the story is, let me explain. The story is I was supposed to film this video yesterday. That was my plan. But I ended up having a nasty, nasty migraine, and by the time I felt better, like by the time I got home from work, I didn't even know if I was gonna make it home from work. I was like, I don't know if I should be driving in this situation. My head was killing me. It was like hurting my stomach. You ever have a migraine where it like makes your stomach hurt? I was light sensitive, which driving at night with people's bright lights in my eyes, not great. And I had like brain fog. I don't know. I just didn't really feel super safe for me to be on the road. So I was trying to take it slow. Got home, took migraine medication, got in bed, tried to like nap, but every time I closed my eyes, my head was spinning and it was making my belly sick. So that was not fun. And by the time I eventually felt better, it was late. I tried to throw on makeup. I don't know if I just was feeling really pessimistic because of what was happening with my body or if my makeup actually sucked. But I put on makeup, hated it. I took a few pictures. I did post them on Instagram. I'll pop one up here, maybe two. I don't know. Editing me will make that decision. But so I did that, and then I was looking at my makeup and I was like, I hate this. This looks terrible. So I ended up not doing that last night. So that ended up leaving me with tonight to film, because I'm filming this Tuesday night, trying to get it out for Wednesday. So I don't have a ton of time. Came home. Well, I went, bought dinner, brought it home, had dinner with my husband, watched some Seinfeld. And I don't know, I just don't have a ton of time, so I didn't put on makeup. This is me, unshaven, unmade up, my glasses on. Hopefully you think I look cute. I don't know. But anyway, today's video is going to be I have my paper in front of me with all my like questions and answers and things. I am doing the eyeshadow palette tag brand edition. I was tagged for this video by Hannah from Hannah's Room. That's the name of her channel. I'll show a little picture here. Hannah's Room, and I will also tag her below. This tag was originally created by a creator that I just checked out for the first time after seeing that I was tagged. Her name is Lisa Lobotomy. I think I'm pronouncing that right, like a lobotomy. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I hope I'm not like being offensive in any way. Yeah, so basically the point of this tag is to kind of talk about different brands and the eyeshadow palettes that I love, maybe don't love so much. Well, you'll see. We'll get into it. So without further ado, barefaced me, scruffy me, is gonna do this thing. So the first question is the brand you have the most palettes from. My answer to that, I knew right off the bat. I did count them, but I didn't need to count them. The brand that I have the most palettes from is definitely ColourPop. Who's surprised? I don't know. And I counted them. I was a little surprised by just how many I had. Most of the ones that I have are their 9-pan, like monochromatic palettes. I have, what do I have, like 4 or 5 or 6? I think I have 6 mega palettes, which are the bigger ones. And then I have just a few other random ones. I have some quads and stuff, but yeah, so definitely ColourPop. The second question, the brand you have the least palettes from, with a minimum of 3. So there's like a condition there. So I couldn't say like Patrick Ta, I only have one of his, or I couldn't say Fantasy Cosmetica, I only have one of theirs. I couldn't say Juvia's Place, I only have 2 of theirs. Honestly, if we're gonna go with minimum of 3, what I had the least of, I'm pretty sure the only real answer is Glam Light. because I have exactly 3 Glamlight palettes in my collection. I feel a little weird answering with these palettes because I have not tried any of them just yet. I'm taking it slow, trying all the new palettes that I purchased. But like I have this one, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, it's chocolate martini. And then I have both of these Scooby-Doo palettes. This one's Rut-Row Raggy. Yeah, Rut-Row Raggy, also gorgeous. And Creeps and Crawls, which is amazing. I love this one. Well, again, haven't tried it yet, but the color story is beautiful. But I mean, I don't have a ton of palettes from several other brands. Like, I just started buying Pat McGrath. I think I have 4 eyeshadow palettes from Pat McGrath. I think same thing with Nomad. I have, actually, I think I have 5 Nomad palettes. But yeah, there's definitely several brands that I'm sort of just getting into that I don't have a ton of. But yeah, Glamlight is the brand that I have the least of so far, right now, as I'm filming this. Question number 3. The brand you wished you had more from. The answer to that has got to be Kaleidos. I actually don't own any eyeshadow palettes from them. I just started buying from them. Do you hear my neighbor walking around upstairs? The creaks and the noises. Jeez Louise. So I don't have any eyeshadow palettes from them. I just have their face products. Like I have a blush, I have the contour palette, and I have the highlighters. But I hear so many good things about their eyeshadow formula. So I definitely want to give them a try. There are several palettes from them that I want to try. I kind of want to get like all of those cute little quads. I really want to try the Astro Pink or whatever it's called. And honestly, I'm kind of excited to see what kinds of things they come out with in 2023 as well. So, yeah, I think Kaleidos is the number 1 for me. But I also wrote down Lethal because I do want to get more stuff from Lethal. I think I have 3 custom, well, technically 2 custom palettes that I made, and then 2 pre-made palettes. I think I've explained this before, but I have a pre-made palette that I custom made because there was a sale and custom palettes were like 40% off or something crazy, so I custom made a pre-existing palette. You know, just getting the deals. But yeah, I don't have a ton of palettes from Lethal, and I would like to get some more of their stuff too. I like their stuff. Question number 4. The brand with the best color story. This one is a little difficult. I usually like very bright and vibrant and interesting color stories. My first thought was ColourPop, but then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Old ColourPop, like, yeah, for sure. I love the old ColourPop palettes. I love the way that they were constructed and everything. I love the fun monochromatic stuff from ColourPop. But I think towards the end of 2021, their color stories started to get a lot more repetitive and boring and neutral, and just, I don't know, they just stopped being fun. There was definitely a moment towards the end of 2021 where I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this stuff anymore. And that was kind of why I decided in 2022 that I was going to branch out a bunch, which super happy for that. But so I've just been a little more disappointed with ColourPop lately. So I would say old school ColourPop, but I think currently, like, the brand that right now gives the most interesting color stories, in my opinion, has to be Natasha Denona. I know a lot of Natasha Denona's stuff can be, you know, sort of neutral leaning or more subtle or soft, but she's also definitely not afraid at all to play with color. And I can definitely see how people would think that or that the brand's palettes are a little more boring and safe. I didn't grab it, but there's like things from her, like what's called Circo Loco. Like, what other major high-end brands are doing things like that, you know? Trio Chrome as well. Even like the pastel palette, things like the Love palette. Like, she's not afraid to give people color, and I kind of love that. As much as I love a lot of indie brands, they don't always come out with color stories that I immediately am like, yes, I get it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if that would make sense to everybody. I just don't always vibe with the color stories of all these indie brands. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just stuck on the monochromatic thing. Am I? Is that what it is? It could be. Okay, question number 5. Palette that you always wanted but never bought. I don't generally, like, if I really want something, I don't generally put it off forever. I always end up picking up the things that I really, really want. But I will say, I have had that Barbie palette from ColourPop in my wish list for so long, and it keeps going on sale. It's like half off, like, all the time. And I just don't buy it. I'm probably not going to buy it. I might end up getting... There's a very similar palette from Glamlight called the Strawberry Margarita palette, I think. Or maybe it's just the Margarita palette. I'm not really sure. But that one has a very similar color story. I'll probably end up getting that. It's from the same series as the Chocolate Martini palette. So it's like this size, this many shadows. And it's got a very similar color story and look about it and feel about it that to the Barbie one. So I'll probably end up getting that. I don't really need the Barbie one. But it has been in my wish list forever. Another one that I did want to mention as well, though, this isn't something that I've wanted forever, but it's one of those things where it was like, I thought about it and I kind of wanted it, and by the time I decided that I was going to get it, I had missed my opportunity because it was gone and I couldn't get it. And that's the Natasha Denona Lila palette. Some of the shades in the Lila are in other palettes. I think there's some in Love and in Retro. And maybe even in other palettes. I don't even know. But I don't know. I like that palette. I by the time I actually was like, you know what? I like this enough to like spend the money on it. It was gone. I couldn't get it anymore. Super sad. The 6th question. A series you want with palettes and from which brand? Now, I kind of took this to mean like a collaboration or something. I don't think that was originally what Lisa's idea was, but I know Hannah talked about makeup collabs that she wanted to see, and so my idea, and you can tell me if you think this is far-fetched, but like, hear me out. I would love to see either, get ready for this, I would love to see either Mortal Kombat or Twisted Metal get a collab. If you don't know what Twisted Metal is, I feel like most people know Mortal Kombat, but if you don't know what Twisted Metal is, it's a PlayStation game. It's a vehicular combat game where you like drive around these cars and stuff and like shoot rockets. It's super fun and it's my childhood. And I actually have Funkos. You probably can't see them with this red lighting. There's one right there. That's Sweet Tooth. He's like the mascot character. I really don't think you're going to be able to see that with the red lighting. Maybe I'll take a picture and insert it. So I have Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal Black, and then I also have the Sweet Tooth from the 2012 reboot. They haven't come out with a video game in this series in over 10 years now, so I don't know what's going on with that. Supposedly there's going to be a show on like Hulu or something. We'll see what happens. But anyway, if you're like, well, why do you want those things? Like, what made you think of those particular um, IPs for a collab? Honestly, they're both extremely color based games. If you look back at the original Mortal Kombat games, it was all about like the palette swap thing. Like they had one actor doing the poses for the different characters, moves and stuff, and then they would change the color of his outfit. So all the ninja characters, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, Ermac, Noob Saibot, Rain. I don't know, I feel like I'm forgetting important ones, but all of those characters, it it was just a color swap. And so I don't know, the game has always felt like it was very color based, like Melina and Katana. One is like a pinky purple and one's blue, and then Jade, she's like green. And I feel like you could do a lot with that. And actually, I think at some point, probably soon on my channel, I'm gonna start doing, I think I talked about this, no, I definitely talked about this in a previous video. I want to do like fantasy color stories, and I want to like swatch different things that I have in my collection and come up with like, there's nothing here, but come up with like color stories to go with different characters and things from movies, video games, whatever else. I think that that would be a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to do that with Mortal Kombat and Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is another game that is very colorful and color based. The mascot character, Sweet Tooth, he drives an ice cream truck with pink polka dots. It's like a white ice cream truck with pink polka dots. But there's so much that you can do with that. Like the clown head on the top of his truck, at least in the first two games, it has flaming hair, first of all, which carries through most of the games, but flaming hair, so you can do like reds and oranges. It has, in the first two games, blue lips, which is kind of fun. Not in any of the cover art for the games, though. Like the first two games, the cover art always shows him having red lips, but in the actual game, the clown head has blue lips. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. And like there are other characters that are associated with color, like the character Shadow is a hearse, but it's a purple hearse. You know, Yellow Jacket is a taxi cab, yellow and all that. Darkseid is like black. Warthog, he's like army colors, you know, like army greens and brown. And there's a character called Crimson Fury who is in a bright red, some kind of like sports car or something. So there's definitely a lot of color in those games. So I feel like you could do a lot with that. But the second part of this question is, which brand? And honestly, I have no idea what brand would ever touch either of those IPs, because they're both kind of darker and more violent game series. Especially, you know, Mortal Kombat was like the reason the M rating exists for video games. M for mature. Actually, I think it's the reason that the whole rating system in general exists for video games. But even Twisted Metal, you know, it was T for teen back in the 90s, but then in 2001 they came out with Twisted Metal Black and they brought it to a more mature or adult place. It got much darker. So both series are, you know, not necessarily the kind of thing that you would think a cosmetics company would be like, let's do this. This is fun. But then again, I don't know. Some of the things that these brands collab with, I'm like, so then why not? Why not do Mortal Kombat? Why not do Twisted Metal? I don't know. There is another series, not a collab, but a series of palettes that I would like to see happen, but I'm going to mention it in a later question. So we'll talk about that one in a second. Question number 7. A palette you want to love but don't. I'm going to talk about a few actually. So the first one that I want to talk about, this is It's a Mood. This is a palette that people seem to really, really love. It's one of ColourPop's mega palettes. And I'm pretty sure it's just my least favorite of all the mega palettes that I have. What did I say? I had 6? And I don't know. This one I've had for a while. I've had this one for over a year. I think I got this close to Christmas time in 2021. I've maybe touched this, like actually put this on my eyes like twice. And I kind of had to like force myself. I don't vibe with this at all, unfortunately. Like when I saw it online, I was like, that looks fun. Look at those jewel tones and look at all the... But I don't know. I just don't get inspired to use this one. And the thing is, everybody that I watch online seems to really like this one. Like people rank this one high. They say a lot of good things about it. I don't know. I don't vibe with it that way. I just don't. But I wish that I did. I wish that I could enjoy this like that. I also wanted to mention these because these are my only Juvia's Place palettes. So I have the Sweet Pinks, which looks like this. Look at how beautiful this is. And then I have the Berries. Yeah, the Berries, which that's the cover. This is what it looks like. Gorgeous. I saw these in Ulta and I like died. I was like, oh my god, I have to get those. But I don't know. The issue that I have with this one, honestly, is just lack of depth. Like, that's really the only problem that I have with this one. I always want a little more depth when I try to use this one, and it ends up looking flat, and I just don't... I don't know. I don't really get into that kind of a look. It just looks funny on me, especially with, like, pinks. I don't know. I feel like I just need a little more depth. I also, I want to experiment with this one more and see if I can make it work, but I don't know. So far, anytime I've ever used it, which is maybe like 3, maybe 4 times, I don't know. It just doesn't give me what I want. But when I bought these, I bought them at the same time, and my thinking was I could use some of the deeper shades in this one, the Berries, to deepen up this. Like maybe that, or even like this deep purpley kind of a shadow here. But I don't know, the tones just don't really match up, and it ends up looking weird. Like I do try to combine the palettes, but it ends up just kind of looking weird. I don't know. That's the struggle that I have with that one. And then with this one, that color story is so beautiful, but the way that these shimmers go on my eye, I was thinking about it. It's like, so there's 2 of them, right? I'm pretty sure they both do this. I put them on my eye, and it's kind of like when you take tin foil and you crumple it a little. That's what it makes my eye look like. It's very reflective and shiny and nice, but it looks like crumpled tin foil. It like creates a layer on top of my skin that, is very foiled and metallic and beautiful, but also looks like tinfoil. And it makes my eyes look extremely textured, and I look old. I don't know why that is. I also have that issue with one of the reds in Naughty Nude from Huda. I don't know if that's just like a thing with red shadows. Maybe they're hard to formulate, but I don't know. I struggle with that one. Okay, the next one is fun. Question number 8. A palette you love but didn't think you would. This one has become one of my favorite palettes. I love this palette. Anytime I want to do like a neutral kind of like sexy but simple sort of a look. Patrick Ta, Major Dimension 2, Rose. I saw this one online, and the pictures, it just looked so boring, like it's just such a neutral palette, and that really wasn't my vibe for a long, long time. I was like, no, only colorful makeup. But I saw it in Sephora. I went to Sephora and I saw it. I was like, oh, that's that Rose palette. And I swatched it. And I've talked about this before, but I swatched this palette and I was like, you know what? Those shimmers are actually really, really nice. So I don't know. It was just like, it was in my head. I was like, wow, what a freaking nice palette. Those shimmers are incredible. And I just kept thinking about this one here because it's like a red orange shimmer and it's so shiny and beautiful. And like this one here is a duochrome. It's like pink to gold. I don't know if that's showing up. There we go. Pink to gold, super beautiful. And I don't know, I just had to get it. And I don't regret it because I really love this palette. Now, question number 9. A palette you wished had a part 2. This one, it took me quite a while to like think of what I wanted the answer for this one to be. And honestly, I kind of have 2 answers. But the second answer that I have kind of came to me today. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't film this yesterday because I wouldn't have thought of this in time for the video. But the first thing that I want to mention is maybe this is a little silly, but the Hella palette. This is Odin's Eyes palette with Angelica Nyqvist. This is what it looks like. It's super beautiful. And I don't know, I was just trying to think of like what would benefit from having a sister palette. And I feel like this one would. I feel like just expanding this color story, or even just sticking with the theme of like one color on top, another color on the bottom, even if it's not like more greens and more pinks, even if they did like, I don't know, like blues and like, I don't know, red or something, just like different colors. I feel like that would be a really cool sister palette to this. Just this whole concept, I feel would be really cool to expand upon. And like, I love, y'all know, y'all know how I love Angelica. So I wouldn't mind seeing another collab palette from her. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is actually a series of palettes. These are the Sweet Shop palettes from BH Cosmetics. I love these palettes so much, and I feel like there's so much more that they could do with this concept. Like, if they did another ice cream cone theme, the bottom one could be like, I don't know, like what is this one? This is a sugar cone? They could do waffle cone, and it could be like deeper browns or, you know, something, and then they have like a green palette, but they could do like, I don't know, more, maybe less monochromatic palettes and more like duochrome palettes, like palettes with like this one where it's like kind of like a pink purple and then like blue purple. I don't know, but like these palettes are such incredible high quality, and I don't know, I feel like I would love to see BH come back out with these, like re-release them and also expand on the line. Imagine like a cookies and cream palette like that, where it would be like black and white and grayscale, and like, I don't know, I feel like that would be really cool. They could do like a more vibrant purple, like grape sherbet palette or something like that, because like this is the only one that's really purple, but it's not like super purple. It has some super purple action going on, but there's pink, there's like what's it called, periwinkle? Is this periwinkle? And then more pink. It's really not super purpley. They could come out with like a strawberry palette, and it could be more pinky. I don't know. I just always thought that would be a fun thing to expand upon. The 10th and final question is, have you ever decluttered a palette and then regretted it? The answer to that is actually no. I've only ever decluttered 2 palettes from my collection. I recently decluttered them. One was just, I think, too old. It was given to me from a friend, and I had swatched it a few times and it was nice, but it was a palette that she had gotten a few years prior and she really didn't use like ever. So she gave it to me, and I don't know, it didn't exactly swatch the best. It was a little dusty. I did think that the shimmers were beautiful, but I don't know. I just decided that I was going to get rid of that one because I never used it and I wasn't sure that I should, just because I didn't know exactly how old it was. And also, I got rid of, I think it was a Revlon palette that I bought like early on when I first started buying eyeshadow palettes. That one, there was the whole reason I bought it. It was at Macy's backstage. It was like $5, $8, something like that. It was like super cheap. And so the whole reason I bought it was because, for one thing, it was super cheap, but also it had a blue in it. I wish I had it just to show you, but it had a blue in it, or at least it looked blue in the pan. And there was also like a picture on the back that like showed what the different pans looked like, and it looked blue, right? It was not blue. The second it touched my skin, it turned green. I don't know what the hell the deal was with that, but it looked blue in the pan, turned green as soon as it was on my skin. The whole reason I bought the palette was because at that time I was super drawn to blues in palettes, like a pop-up blue or whatever. But that blue was green, and it was not doing it for me. It was not giving me what I wanted. And you know, those shadows in general weren't like super impactful or anything either. It was Revlon. It was like whatever. And it was a pretty neutral palette besides the green disguised as a blue. I think there were some kind of reddish shades, but they were still pretty neutral. So I tossed that one, and I don't regret getting rid of either of them, honestly. They were palettes that I really wasn't using, so it's just like whatever. Okay, so I guess that's it. That's the whole video, right? I answered all the questions. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you related to some of the things that I said. Hopefully you like my answers. I want to thank Hannah from Hannah's Room for tagging me in this. You are so very sweet. We have talked a little bit on Instagram and in the comments on YouTube, and I always enjoy talking to all of you guys. You guys are great, actually. Like, I love talking to you guys. I think Hannah said that she found me through Angelica because Angelica had put one of my a clip from one of my stories onto her story. So we have Angelica in common. We both love her. And yeah, I don't know. I think that we're both kind of nerdy, right? Thank you so much for the sweet things that you said about me on your channel. And just, you know, thank you for drawing some attention to my tiny little channel. Could definitely use it. I will tag her channel down below. You guys should go check out Hannah's video. Hopefully you can forgive me for not wearing makeup in this video. Hopefully you think I look okay anyway. I don't know. My skin doesn't look terrible right now, does it? My double chin looks terrible. Put that away. But yeah, I will be seeing you guys again on Sunday. I'm anticipating that it will be a very fun video. Something is maybe coming that I'm excited to do a video about. But yeah, check me out then. Alright, you guys, now I have to edit this freaking video and it's going to be awful. So I'm going to say goodnight, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye.